Hello and welcome. We have several interesting stories, including one about an entitled mother-in-law who hates her daughter-in-law so much that she called her the devil and banned her from events because of her dress style. Sit back, relax, and enjoy. First story. Am I the idiot for suing my father for the damage done to my house by his dogs? My F31 mom passed away last year. My dad, 56, married a woman, 37, with a son, 16, about 6 months later. I think that the age difference is a bit much, but she is nearly 40, so it's not like he's robbing the cradle. Whenever my parents went away, I would always watch their dogs. They weren't the dogs that I grew up with, but they are good puppies. My mom would always call and let me know well in advance that they were going away, as I would make sure that either myself or my boyfriend would be around pretty quick after the pups got dropped off. They could behave themselves for a few hours and I would leave water out for them. I do not have any pets myself. My work can involve travel and my boyfriend works out of town for 2 weeks and then has 2 weeks off. Well, my dad and his new wife decided to go on a trip. But since it was never his responsibility, he didn't call. I was out of town. My boyfriend was working. My dad has a key to my house for emergencies and dropping off the dogs. My neighbor called me a day later about the dogs howling in my house to see if everything was okay. I called my dad and he told me that he didn't know I was out of town. I said that if he didn't come get them, I was calling animal control. So he had his new stepson come to my house to get the dogs. I have no idea why a 16-year-old kid who was trusted to stay home by himself could not just have watched the dogs in the first place. When I got home, I found a disaster area. Dog crap and piss everywhere. I don't want to describe everything because it makes me angry. To get everything that could be cleaned and replace my boyfriend's leather recliner, which was old but also destroyed, cost about $7,000. I told my dad I expected him to pay for everything. He said that he would see if his homeowner's insurance would cover it. They will, but the deductible is a lot. And his premiums will go up. So he said that he would take care of it. It's been a few months and I am sick of waiting. The limit for small claims court in my state is more than double what I want. So I am suing him. He was served and called me to complain. He doesn't have the money because he just bought a new car. He bought the car after my house got destroyed. I feel no pity. But his wife and him keep trying to talk me out of pursuing this. They said that my dad paid for a good chunk of my student debt and that I owe him. He and my mom did pay off about $10,000 of my student debt. And I was grateful. It is one of the reasons I had no problem dog sitting for free. But he says that if I take this money, then he will not have money for things at his house. He isn't retired, and my mom had life insurance. The top replies, not the idiot, and it's vital to hold firm and not let them sway you here. He had months to pay you back and instead bought a car? His negligence resulted in damage to your property. He should absolutely be paying for everything, and his financial irresponsibility is not your problem. The second reply, not the idiot, he entered your home without your permission and left his dogs unattended. You gave him an opportunity to pay for the damages and waited months for him to do it. It's only normal that you took the next step and sue. He bought a new car, so he clearly has other priorities than paying you back. Paying you back will never be his priority. Keep suing. The third reply, not the idiot, he abandoned his dogs in an empty house without food and water. Or someone to walk them. He isn't just an idiot, he should be investigated for animal cruelty. The second story, am I the idiot for kicking my ex out of my house right before Christmas and suing her? My ex and I divorced about 15 years ago and we have shared custody of our daughter. In the divorce, she wanted our house, but I fought hard against it because it's been my family home for 3 generations before I inherited it. In the end, we came to a compromise that was signed off by the judge. Basically, she gets to live in the house rent-free until our daughter turns 18, then I get it back. I had to pay the utilities, maintenance, and property taxes the entire time. In addition, she can't make any modification or upgrades to the house without my written permission. She's solely responsible for the cost, and the work has to be performed by an insured and legally licensed professional. I've been sending her move-out notices for months in anticipation of my daughter's 18th birthday, and recently that came to pass. The day after, I showed up to the house with a contractor because I wanted some work done before I move back in. At first, she refused to let me in until I reminded her that I'm the legal owner of the house. According to our divorce agreement signed by the judge, she's no longer allowed to be there, and I'll call the police if she doesn't let me in. She got the point and opened the door. I was surprised nothing was packed and it didn't seem like she was moving at all. We were arguing as I walked through and inspected my house. She wanted extra time and I told her to be out by the end of the week or I'll have her stuff thrown out. When I walked into the living room, I was shocked into silence. The living room was expanded by a wall being torn down and having the bedroom that was once there merged into it. She turned my 4BR house into a 3BR1. I know I didn't sign off on this, and from the looks of it, the work was probably done by her boyfriend and not a professional. I yelled at her and told her I'm going to sue her for everything she has. Then I left. She went crying to our daughter and my family. Now everyone is telling me to give her another month to find a place and not to sue her. My daughter is firmly on her mother's side and thinks I'm the idiot for kicking her mother out a couple of weeks before Christmas and suing her. This is why I'm here. I think I'm right and legally I am right, but my daughter's opinion of me matters to me. Am I the idiot? Edit to answer common questions. My daughter is a freshman in college and I rent her an apartment near campus where she lives by herself. She has a room in my house and I assume will have a room wherever her mother lives. My ex fought for the house and had a chance of winning even though we had shared custody because I make much more than her. I offered her the compromise and she took it because her attorney told her it was a good deal and there was an equal chance I could win, which would leave her without a house. My relationship with my daughter is good. She didn't tell me about the renovation because early on I told her I don't want to talk or hear anything about her mother unless it was something that was affecting her daughter negatively. My ex was dead to me and I wanted to spend time with my daughter building new memories. Edit to answer more questions. My daughter is a wonderful girl and I couldn't ask for a better daughter. She has a big heart and cares about her mother. I've made it a point to never talk about her mother since the divorce, so I'm sure she doesn't fully understand our situation. I plan to talk to her. I inherited the house during our marriage and since we were still in the honeymoon phase, I placed her name on the deed. After that, I remortgaged the house twice, once to get a better rate and once for the money we needed. All of this led to my attorney advising I compromise. He said there's a real risk of losing the house, so I compromised. Thank you for reading my post. I'll update you as the situation progresses if anyone is interested. The top replies. I don't know where you live and the worth of your house, but where I live, there's a huge price difference between a 3-bedroom house and a 4-bedroom one. Your ex's action caused you to lose tens if not $100,000. Not the idiot and sue her. The second reply. Not the idiot. Your ex had 15 years to figure out another living arrangement, not 2 weeks. She remodeled your house without your permission. I would honestly have police escort her and all her crap off the property, have her arrested for trespassing if she steps foot on the property again, and sue her for everything you possibly can. The third reply. Except he has to accept, if he does this, that it could irreparably damage his relationship with his daughter. The mother needs to move out, and she should fix the damage. If the daughter gets mad over that, then she's probably going to get mad anyway. But I wouldn't try to milk every penny out of this. Even, honestly, if she's really poor and original poster is wealthy and can easily afford the repairs. Sounds like has Reno work planned anyway. I just let it slide and call it the cost of saying, good riddance, in a way that minimizes the impact on his relationship with the daughter. A little drywall is fairly cheap, a relationship with a child is priceless. The third story. Am I the idiot for asking my husband to stop waking up early to exercise while on vacation? My husband usually wakes up early so he can work out daily. During our vacation, our son was sleeping in the same bed as us as he wouldn't sleep otherwise. Every single time my husband got up to exercise, it would wake our son up, which meant I had to wake up at 5 a.m. too. A lot of the time our son would be in a bad mood from having been woken up early too, so it wasn't ideal. After the fourth day, I asked him to stop waking up early to exercise for the rest of our 2-week vacation. He told me he would be more careful not to wake our son up, but I told him our son would wake up as soon as he left the bed, so he had to stop. We argued over it, but he did eventually agree to stop reluctantly, even though it meant he couldn't exercise as much as he wanted to without missing time with his family, and it also meant he couldn't work out with his brother, which his brother was unhappy about. Was I the idiot for making him stop? The top replies, not the idiot. Your husband's desire to spend time with his brother is understandable, but if he lives with light sleepers, that's just how it is. Sometimes you gotta make sacrifices. You wanting to not be woken up at some off hour of the early morning is a completely reasonable request. The second reply.
While I agree he should be the one to deal with the baby, I will say routines are extremely important to most people when it comes to working out.
If 5 a.m. is what he's built up, not doing that for 2 weeks will be tough to get back into. Momentum is real for that mental game. It seems excessive to not take the 2 weeks off, but if you're closely tracking progress, 2 weeks is devastating, and for me easily turns into 3 weeks if I'm not careful low-key. Not saying he's in the right, but I understand the dilemma. Not sure why he isn't just going for the obvious solution and waking up even earlier so he can put the baby back to sleep though. Or just change the time of the workout, to be honest. Third reply.
Not the idiot.
You're not doing it to be mean, it's just a reality that you both have to deal with. If you're staying with family, you probably don't have much flexibility as to sleeping arrangements, but it seems like a separate bed would solve this. Maybe if a crack of dawn workout is important enough to your husband, he could choose the couch. Or a cot or a room with 2 beds if you're in a hotel. The fourth story. Am I the idiot for saying I won't come to Christmas at my in-laws if I can't wear a hat? This is a petty little thing, but maybe you guys can help me know if I was in the wrong? For context, I, 25F, got married in November. My mother-in-law doesn't really like me, even trying to steal the spotlight at my wedding, but is still overly traditional. At Thanksgiving, I was having a really bad hair day, so I wore a black leather cap, a dressier newsboy-style one, which my husband said looked great on me. The holiday was hostile, even more so than prior gatherings I'd been to, and hubby said mother-in-law said it was because I wore a hat, but I know it was just an excuse. I told mother-in-law I wouldn't come to Christmas with them, then blocked her number and Facebook. My husband is trying to keep us both happy since he doesn't like conflict. He wants me to come to one more celebration to see if maybe people are getting used to me. He's told mother-in-law she needs to be nice and treat me as part of the family since I am, and that if I feel unwelcome at Christmas like I did at Thanksgiving, we won't attend future events and she see him much anymore. I understand why he wants me to give her one final chance and haven't had any conflict with him.
Marriage is about compromise, and I get that he doesn't want to cut her off since she's his mother, but I just don't want to be involved with her unless I have to be. I wanted to see if mother-in-law was listening to him, so I asked my husband to request that I be allowed to wear the same hat to Christmas. Hubby said he thought I'd worn it since I had a bad hair day, but this time it's as a statement that they shouldn't treat me as an outsider, either because I wear hats all the time. Right now it's just a sports visor, which I'd never wear to a holiday, so it's not like I'm doing that, or they just don't like me.
If they won't let me wear a hat, what else are they going to restrict about me? Let me be me or I won't come. Period. My husband agreed and relayed this to mother-in-law, and she's been asking him why he married the devil. He's growing tense with me, and I told him he'll probably have to pick a side sooner or later and that I never intended it that way. He spent last night at a friend's house because he needed to think. I feel bad because I care about him and no conflict stresses him out. I told him to text me when he was ready to talk. He hasn't yet. My friends think that my hat request was unnecessary, and maybe I strained my relationship with my husband.
I think he just needed space to think because conflict stresses him out, so I gotta ask, am I the idiot for saying I won't come if I don't wear a hat? The top replies, everyone is the idiot. You took a situation that could have been a first step toward a less contentious relationship with your mother-in-law and made demands which intentionally antagonized her.
Of course, you should be able to wear whatever you want, and your mother-in-law is being insane in this situation. But do you want to be right? Or do you want peace in your family? The second reply. I think the point is that if the mother-in-law is willing to die on the Hat Hill, the original poster does not in fact want peace from mother-in-law, she wants nothing. This is fair. I don't understand mothers that choose to stress test relationships, and I especially don't understand the people who would choose to appease these people like there is a benefit. Wouldn't it feel awful to be in a room where someone is being super nice to you but super shitty to the person you love? Nobody wins there except the mom and fork that holidays are about celebration, not being beaten into contrition. These are two people who do not like or want to like each other, and that's not only fine, it is the mother's fault. Not the idiot. The third reply. You are the idiot. You're literally trying to bait mother-in-law. It's like you want a reaction from her. It's generally considered rude to be wearing a hat indoors / while dining. And, bad hair day. It's a family get-together. Seems pretty immature to even be thinking about that.
I'd expect it from a teenager maybe, but an adult. You're putting your husband in a shitty situation.
Update. My husband just texted me saying he just got off the phone with his mother.
He told her off for calling me the devil, and said that if I can't wear a hat, he's not coming either, and that she really should get over her antiquated BS. She did not respond well. I don't think we're going to Christmas there now, so maybe we'll have a friendmas.
I don't know. We'll think of something.